So, it's July 2020. My AC is dead for the second scorching South Dakota summer in a row. My motivation to work on a new video has been at an all-time low for months, and the only thing keeping me sane between working at a fast food joint, mountains upon mountains of personal drama, and sleeping is getting together with the boys and watching a little-known show known as Naruto. It's alright if you haven't heard of it, I know it's just not that big of a deal. Now, ever since the boys and I set out on this journey, Naruto has quickly shot up to the status of being one of my favorite pieces of fiction, and I've had that little spark to talk about why in a video for a while now, but I just didn't know how. This is where video games come in, because let's be real here, talking about video games is why the collective few of you are here in the first place, so I best give the people what they want. But first let me preface this with a little section on why I love Naruto. And I'm going to be honest with you, I love pretty much all of it. The characters are enjoyable to watch grow and pursue their motivations, and let's be real, having consistent character writing has been a breath of fresh air after the last few years in entertainment. The plots develop in ways that have thus far been keeping me engaged for the whole ride, but above it all is the world in which Naruto takes place. The world is so much fun to learn about, from the history and figures of the world to all of its interesting locations, but the biggest standout to me is the magic system the series uses, because having a system where almost every power can be learned with enough effort in theory, to the point where it's even a character's entire motivation, is infinitely more fascinating to me than the magic systems used in other shonen anime. You see, at heart I'm still a child that wishes to escape the monotony of my everyday life and immerse myself into a fanciful world of magic and wonder. And the only difference between me now and me 12 years ago is that the setting changed from a galaxy far, far away to a land of 5 nations with very shaky peace. My friends and I still have those conversations of which jutsus we'd want to have, what village we'd want to be from, who we'd want to study under, what the best jutsus would be. And to me, that's what makes escapist entertainment successful. When it makes you want to immerse yourself into its world, because debating the question of, if you were dropped into this world with only one ability, which would be the best to have, is so much fun. And Sam, I still stand by my answer that the Sharingan would be the best.
The next 72 hours will be nothing but this, over and over.
Now, this is where the video game side of things comes in, because video games are a blank template where anything can be realized with enough talent and effort. Now, Naruto has had just a few video games during its ongoing run, but one of them stands out to me above all the rest, Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker. I bought this game during the summer sale and I've put just a little bit of time into it, but the reason it seems to captivate me the way it does is because it allows these fantasies to be partially realized. The game allows you to make an avatar, yourself insert into the game's world, and study under a high variety of ninja from the series and learn their abilities, then use them against other players in a competitive setting. It's this gameplay loop of learning new jutsus from new masters and trying out different combinations to try and outwit opponents that makes this game so addicting. For example, I often find myself using the range class and capture the flag so I can attempt to retrieve the flag from enemies at higher ranges, and the combination I run of Heavenly Hand Power from the Renegon and Onyx Chidori allow me to have powerful offensive jutsus that can also be used to cover a long distance to compensate for the reduced movement speed inflicted by carrying the flag. Finding out clever ways to use your jutsu to give you an edge up over your opponents feels so satisfying. Combined with customizing my own avatar to feel unique makes it the ideal realization and companion piece to an escapist fantasy. So now for the remainder of the video, I'm going to detail my thoughts for improving Shinobi Striker. First off, I want to get a rather minor issue out of the way. Some of these character models need to be redone. Kakashi and Sasuke look fantastic to give some good examples, but then you have the models for Tenten, Sakura, Sai, and Naruto, which look so weird that it rips you out of how immersed one can feel in this game. Additionally, some of the animations look a little stiff. Shikamaru and Konohamaru's come to mind immediately, but I'm sure there are a fair other few that could use some polishing as well. But that's a minor gripe, so let's talk about some actual big changes we could use in the game. There needs to be more variety in, well, everything, but let's run down specifics. The system they have in place for weapons is pretty good, having class determine what weapons you can use in your general attack style, but I think it would be better to do away with the general class style and get a little bit more in depth with it. Why don't we just relegate classes to weapons? We can keep our attack, ranged, etc. style weapons that you would base your playstyle around. But we could do away with class restrictions for ninja tools and jutsu. I understand that would probably be a nightmare for balancing in team comp, but at the end of the day I think this would further prioritize team communication, which is a big part of this game. Ninja in the world in which the game takes place aren't chained down from learning jutsu outside of their chosen specializations, so why should ninja in-game? Furthermore, when playing with friends, it would create further discussion about knowing each of each other's movesets and how to best play off of each other. As some quick rapid-fire thoughts, maybe ranged jutsu would work better when you have a ranged weapon equipped, but that wouldn't necessarily stop you from having a healing jutsu as well, it would just be less effective. And while we're on the subject of jutsu, I think each character needs to be able to have more of them. I understand 2 just kinda works with a control scheme, 1 on each bumper. That would be nice to be able to swap out your ninja tool for an additional jutsu or something along those lines, and of course, increasing the amount of learnable jutsu would be fantastic as well. Now let's talk about actual character customizations. I'm going to start by saying the scroll system is fine in premise, but it really needs some tweaking. First off, gender lock the rewards. If I'm playing as a male character, don't let me appraise 5 scrolls and have them all be items for female characters. Second, they need to be dupe protected. I've got mountains upon mountains of the same shit in my inventory, and man, it would be nice to get something new instead of Choji Top Color X for the 30th time this session. I know perks can be customized from item to item, which is why you'd want to have dupes, so you can have different perks and the same aesthetic, but for the love of God, if we unlock scrolls, just let us buy dupes off Tenten, she's not doing much else. Second, when it comes to character equipment and customization, sure, including customizations from named characters in the series makes for a decently sized pool, but they should throw in some additional unique pieces of gear not worn by named characters to let players be, more individual, because the only hairstyle with a long headband is Shippuden Naruto's, and I'd kinda like to change it up, but I also like the long headband. The same can be said for weapons. Sure, it's awesome to be able to use Sasuke's Kusanagi sword, or Hidan's extra as shit scythe, but imagine how many unique weapon designs you could make in this setting. Throwing in some more weapons would allow players to feel like they're standing out more, because if Destiny proved one thing to the entire planet, it was the grind to make your character look dope as shit and then absolutely stomp every player you encounter is more of a flex than owning WinRAR. It's like owning armor effects in Halo Reach, because when you're staring down an enemy and he sees the lightning cloud around your head, he knows you got that through dedication and your own skill. And to top off my segment on variety, the thing this game needs the most is some new maps and modes. Sure, what we have now is a great foundation, but what we have now is only the tip of the iceberg of what could be a fantastic variety of maps. There's plenty of inspiration to be had in the series, just look to Storm 4 as an example. It just needs to be realized. The final tune-up I'd propose is some flashier UI. Do the menus work in Striker? Sure. But I think Persona 5 proved to everyone putting some effort into them can really elevate the experience. I mean, look at a comparison from how Persona 5 does its shop UI versus how Striker does it, and think how much better Striker would feel as an experience with some flashier and more aesthetically pleasing menus, especially with how much time you spend navigating them between matches. Also, as a final thought, I think the character creator could use a bit more personality as well. Sure, the standard character on a rotatable axis next to a menu works, but think again about how Persona 5 does its menus, and think about how that could be woven into a character creator. Have the character do an animation from each part to the next as it focuses in on whatever piece of the character you're customizing. And of course, you could always zoom back out to the character on the rotatable axis to get a good look at the character as a whole. And that's really all I have for Shinobi Striker. It's a lot like a good house. Sure, its foundation is solid, and it looks and works alright, but maybe if we renovate a bit and put on a new coat of paint, it'd be a hell of a lot better. Will this video be seen? Will my ideas ever be realized? Almost certainly not, but at the end of the day, I made this video because I felt like it, and it's nice to actually feel like making a video again. With that being said, my name is Soda, and I'll finish Through the Ringer Part 3 at some point. Thanks for your patience.